Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Shuntam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridintasto Hya Bhadrani Vidroti Suhatsatam Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavatyuttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, chapter 29, verse 11 through 14. Verse number 11. Nalina Nalina Nase Gandha Saurabh Uchyate Grano Avadhuto Mukhyasam Vipano Vagrasava Vidrasaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The two doors named Nalini and Nalini should be known as a two nostril, and the city named Saurabha represent the aroma. The companion spoken of as Avduta is the sense of smell. The door called Mukhya is mouth, and Vipan is the faculty of speech. Rajagya is the sense of taste. Purport: the word Avdhuta means the most free. A person is not under the rules and regulation of any injunction when he has attained the stage of Avdhuta. In other words, he can act as he likes. This Avdhuta stage is exactly like a air which does not care for any abstraction. In Bhagavad Gita 6.34, it is said, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna Parmarthi balvartradam tasyaham nigraham manye vayur eva sudushkaram. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, and to subdue it seems to me more difficult than controlling the wind. Just as the air and wind cannot be checked by anyone, the two nostrils situated in one place enjoy the sense of smell without impediment. When the tongue is present, the mouth continuously tastes all kind of relishable food stuff. Verse number 12. Apano vyavharo atra chitramando bahudanam pitrahur karna uttarahu devahu smritaha. Translation. The city called Apana represent the engagement of the tongue in the speech, and Bahudana is the variety of food stuff. The right ear is called the gate of Prithu, and the left ear is called the gate of Devahu. Verse number 13. Pravartam cha nivrattam cha shastram pancha salagittamam sangittamam pitrayan devayan chotra akshut dhara the vrajet. Translation. Narad Muni continued, the city spoken of as Dakshin Panchal represent the scriptures meant for directing the pravarti, the process of sense enjoyment in fruitive activities. And other city named Uttar Panchal represent the scriptures meant for decreasing the fruitive activities and increasing the knowledge. The living entity receives a different kind of knowledge by means of two ears, and some living entities are promoted to Pitraloka and some to Devloka. And all this made possible by 2 years. Purport. The Vedas are known as Shruti. The knowledge received from them through the oral reception is called Shrutidhar. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one can be promoted to the planet of the demigod, or to the planet of Pitras, forefather, or even to the Vaikuntha planets, simply through the process of hearing. This hearing have already been explained in the previous chapters. Verse number 14. Asuri medharam avarga dvair vayayo graminam rati upasto durmudah prokto nir nirtir gudah uchate. Translation. The city called Gramaka, which is approached through the lower gate of Asuri, the genital organ, is meant for sex, which is very pleasing to the common man who are simply fools and rascals. The faculty of procreation is called durmada, and the rectum is called nritti, purport. When the world becomes degraded, civilization becomes demonic, and for the common man, the rectum and genitals are taken very seriously as the center of all activity. Even in such sacred place as Vrindavan, India, unintelligent men pass off this rectal and genital business as a spiritual activity. Such people are called sahajiya. According to their philosophy, through sexual indulgence, one can elevate oneself to the spiritual platform. From these verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, however, we understand that the desire for sexual satisfaction are meant for the arvak, the lowest among men. To rectify these rascals and fools is very difficult. After all, the sex desire for the common men are condemned in this verse. The word durmada means wrongly directed, and nirupti means sinful activity. Although this ordinary point of view, the Sahajiya nonetheless pass themselves off as a devotee conducting the spiritual activity. For this reason, Vrindavan is no longer visited by intelligent men. We are often asked why we have made our center in Vrindavan. From external point of view, it can be concluded that Vrindavan has become degenerate due to these Sahaji activities. Yet, from the spiritual point of view, Vrindavan is only the place where all sinful persons can be rectified by the means of taking birth in the form of dog, hog, and monkeys. By living in Vrindavan as a dog, hog, or monkey, the living entity can be elevated to the spiritual platform in next life. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति सुपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे। Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share the note of one of the lecture of Dravida Prabhu, which I'm going to share. And please forgive me if I made some interpretation by mistake. So this lecture begins with a very serious analysis of this world we live in, that is completely based on teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is the problem here? The problem is like this age of Kali Yuga itself. So we are living in this age which is predicted to be most degraded and completely filled with quarrel, hypocrisy, and spiritually completely dark. So Narad Muni describe in this age what is going to happen. He described thousands of years ago, and now we are seeing this comes true. And that is also very alarming speed. So Dravid Prabhu he pointed out uh, a major symptom of this degraded age that is very impossible to ignore. So our human body has 9 gates or 9 portals, and this shloka focuses immediately on the two lower portals, especially the last shloka. The two portals, the lower portals are genital, the sex organ, and the rectum, the anus. So these two areas, which are most private and lowest part of body, are what purport it says that very pleasing to the common man or fools and rascals, Prabhupada says. So in other word, a large number of people in this age are completely occupied with the activities to these lower senses. So the spiritual process is all about controlling the senses and elevating the mind. But in Kali Yuga, the lower senses are completely dictating the people in general's life. So in this age of Kali Yuga, even we can see like the marriage has practically disappeared now. Many people do not even plan to get married because It is the marriage is seen as a restriction on their freedom. Or also, we can say, other hand, due to use of this birth control and abortion, people having children not as a blessing but as a burden, and the burden that can interfere their sense enjoyment. So, if the material world offer any temporary or polluted pleasure, that basically gradually result in suffering only. We can see. So, what is the alternative? So, in the lecture, Prabhuji completely shift from this material crisis to the transcendental solution. So, as Prabhupada also said that this material world is completely a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So we can think of an image reflected in the water. It's completely upside down and distorted. So similarly, everything we experience here in this material world, every desire for happiness or beauty or other things is basically a distorted form of the spiritual world, the absolute truth. So material pleasure is completely temporary, always ends, and always mixed with some pain and frustration. On the other hand, the spiritual pleasure, it's completely eternal, unlimited, ever increasing, pure, and that is basically something like natural function of the soul. Material pleasure is not a natural function of the soul, but a spiritual pleasure is, yeah. Further, Prabhuji mentioned in this shloka also, it is like it comes like perfection of Vrindavan to show us that the what real pleasure is. Prabhuji was comparing the degraded life of Kali Yuga with the pure life of Golok Vrindavan, which is like a spiritual abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vrindavan is the place of perfect loving exchange. Every activity there is an expression of pure unconditioned love for Krishna, and there the relationship between Krishna and his eternal associate are completely free from material lust or any selfish motive. So, by hearing about this pure and beautiful pastime in Bhagavatam, we are meant to be attracted to the spiritual reality. And at the same time, this temporary reflection of this material world goes away. So, this is the goal of spiritual life, achieving the higher taste, which is called out in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, like Param Drashtva Nivartate. So, once you taste something better, the inferior material test automatically goes away. If someone puts khichdi and gulab jamun, if we taste the gulab jamun, obviously we will not look at the khichdi. So importance of this spiritual practice or path to achieve the higher taste is also called the Bhakti Yoga. And this process gives us uh, many means to absorb our mind in something transcendental. And further, Prabhuji concluded the lecture by giving the most effective way to utilize this absolute gift in the Kali Yuga. Two things he mentioned: the power of Sankirtan or chanting and devotee association. These two things, if we get hold of, we can easily develop the test towards the higher test or spiritual reality. Very nice quote came into this verse that if we learn how to relish the spiritual pleasure, even a little bit, it takes us completely away and negates the attraction of these rectal senses. So, the entire purpose of this shloka, especially the last one, is to encourage us to take full advantage of this gift which Prabhupada gave us, the gift of this devotional service, chanting the holy name, our personal chanting or Sankirtan Yajna, and be in the devotee association. And in this way, we can flourish in this spiritual environment. I would like to conclude